the next president of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Yang!
Andrew Yang, who's one of the Democrats running for president, wants the U.S. government to give every adult American $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year, every year. He calls it the freedom dividend. You can do whatever you want with this money. Spend it all on video games or beer, or take a great trip to Disney World. Now, Yang thinks most people won't do that. He has faith in humanity and thinks people will spend the money on education or rent or childcare or other things that will help them get ahead or just get by. Yang's not the first to come up with this idea. The concept is called Universal Basic Income, or UBI, and some people think it's needed to give people a boost and a modest amount of financial security. But Yang may be the first presidential candidate to seriously propose a UBI.
Now, if you've heard anything about me, you've heard that there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. And all of those things are true.
Yang thinks a universal basic income, or his freedom dividend, is necessary because we're going to have more robots doing the work of people, but we don't have that right now. We've got an unemployment rate of 3.7%. That's very low. So we've been worried about this problem for a long time. It just hasn't happened yet. However, he says, look, 20, 30 years from now, that's going to be the case.
It's time to trust ourselves more than our politicians. This is how we will get our country working for us again, the American people.
So what's the catch? There are several, actually. This would be enormously expensive, costing about $3 trillion a year. That's way more than the government spends on any single program right now. It's more than 4 times what we spend on the Pentagon each year. So it would require a huge boost in taxes. Yang says all of this would be worth it, but you can bet a lot of people wouldn't like the new taxes. Another problem is that some people actually would waste the money, blow it on drugs or booze or gambling. Even if it were a small percentage, the bad press would be a big problem and it would infuriate some voters. Finally, Yang's free money would give some people a reason to work less or not to work at all. $12,000 a year isn't enough for most people to support themselves on, but for somebody on the margins of the labor force, it might be just enough to stay home instead of looking for a job. Seems a little bit un-American too, especially for something we probably can't afford.
If you dig into our country's history, you find this a deeply American idea. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of our country, called it the citizens' dividend. Martin Luther King championed it and fought for it in the 60s. 1,000 economists endorsed it in the 60s and 70s. It was so mainstream that it passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971 as the Family Assistance Plan.
There's probably no chance Andrew Yang will win. He's polling in the low single digits, but we do know that he has a very enthusiastic group of core supporters, but he's not really getting the poll numbers. He's probably going to require to be one of the top 5 candidates once we get into the primaries in 2020.